welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for All Stars 2, episode 2+2, which is 4. My name's Zach, and I'm joined by my best friend Jake.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? For life.
For life, yeah. What was there a boy band that had something with a 4 in it?
For him?
That's not a nope. And my wife Hannah.
Hi.
You
guys are doing math.
I do remember For Him, and that is not a boy. Well, I mean, traditionally not a boy band.
They had a song called "Measure of a Man."
Is that a good song?
It's a profound song.
Oh.
Measure.
Okay.
You know what? I couldn't tell you one of their songs off the top of my head, but I'll trust you on that
Sacred
one.
Hideaway.
Yeah, you got a few of them locked and loaded.
What's their
The
group?
Message.
What's their group called?
For Him.
It's the number 4 and him.
Yeah.
Together
For Him,
or separate?
yes.
Like
I mean,
four
I
space.
believe it's together.
him.
I think it's together. It was in the 90s.
I hope we get them a lot of traction.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
It was like a male.
Back to the basics.
It was like
basics of life.
It was a Christian male, like, I don't even know how old they would have been, in their 30s, 40s.
Could you? No, when they started, they weren't in their 30s and 40s.
But I'm saying like the 90s. I don't know how old they were. I mean, we were like 6. I don't know how old they were at the time.
Boy, I used to rock with some For Him.
I'm sure you did.
So For Him,
They
you
got a Christmas album, man.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, you know who else has a Christmas album?
Justin Bieber.
98 Degrees.
That's true too.
I've been listening to it a lot. Actually, I listen to it pretty much throughout the year.
Yep.
So we've got For Him, 98 Degrees.
No one's gonna like For Him.
S Club 7.
No, S Club 7. That's. Don't even get me started on that.
S Club 7. What are other bands? Maroon 5.
What are you trying to name right now?
There's a number in the name.
Oh, you made a quick switch there.
Yeah, I did not have any idea where you're going. If you're doing that, you can just say 5. The boy band 5 with the 5 at the beginning.
Right. Yeah, For Him's best album was probably The Message.
Yeah, probably. That's where they got the inspiration for that Bible translation.
Oh,
It's not at all.
5 did Slam Dunk Defunk.
Yes.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
I just looked down and
They
there
also
it
had
was.
Baby When the Lights Go Out.
They did.
It's all about sex and each other.
Yeah.
Right.
But they played it on the Disney Channel.
You got Jump
Yeah.
5?
I saw Jump 5 at a festival when I was like 13, and they were not good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, were they spinning around though?
Yeah, they were. That's what they do.
That's all that matters.
This is a very specific person who understands all of these references. Because she didn't even get the For Him ones.
I would venture
That's
to
the
say
only group I don't know.
There's not one person listening.
I think maybe our friend Corndog Katie has a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Sometimes Neens gets the music
that is true.
references.
That is true.
She gets like
You had to be raised in a specific area
in a specific area
and
with
time
a
frame,
specific time frame,
and had parents who didn't have good taste in music.
specific guidelines in raising children.
Yeah, and that did not include watching MTV. But here we are. We made it okay.
Yeah.
I think we're all right.
That's what's crazy, Zach. You ever think of the things we weren't allowed to do and how it had zero bearing? I think, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't watch Power Rangers.
I couldn't either.
What?
Goosebumps.
Why?
Me either. I
What-
couldn't
what-
read Goosebumps. They're like, you don't read those books.
Now, I will say those things as a kid scared me,
But-
man. They really did.
I remember I read I got really into
But you don't know how to read.
Oh.
Han can't read.
Is that a new one? Is that true?
No, it's not. I read all the time.
She reads more than me. Yeah,
You don't read.
that's not true.
I read all the time. No, I was getting really into the Goosebumps books, and then didn't R.L. Stine do another book where it was like,
There it goes.
I don't even know how
Right
to
out the
get to
window.
it, but it was like a collection of stories that were Goosebumps-esque, but it was more.
He had a different series later on.
I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I
but
don't, but he did have.
I think the book was like it was all in like black and white. The cover was, and it was like 4 or 5 different stories, and I remember I read one story and it messed me up so bad that I finished the story and then I walked into the kitchen weeping, and my mom's like, "What in the heck is wrong with you? And I was like,
R.L.
I just read
Stine
this
did it
story, and no, it was following the point of view of like a teenage girl, and she was having all these struggles, and she was trying to like, her mom couldn't understand what she was going through, and then at the end of the story, it turns out that the teenage daughter was actually dead, and that's why the mom didn't understand. And so like, I wept, and my mom was like, "You're not reading any of these ever again." And so from that point forward, I was not allowed to read Goosebumps or anything of the genre. Because I was too sensitive to it.
Let's go back a second.
Okay.
Wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers. And by the way, in 1994, 95, when I was in kindergarten, guess what was the biggest show in the world at the time?
Power Rangers.
Guess who was a Power Ranger? There was a guy named Zach who was a Power Ranger. At recess, every time, I'm the Black Ranger.
Yeah, the Black Ranger.
By the way, very racist choices on Power Rangers' parts. They made
the yellow Power Ranger was an Asian
girl.
She was always my favorite.
And then I'm pretty sure the red Power Ranger was part Native American. And
Jason.
Look it up. Pull them up. I've got to see them all now. There's a blonde guy, isn't there?
There was Tommy.
Well, he had the long hair, the ponytail.
Yeah.
Billy was Blue Ranger.
Billy was the blue. But blue boy, pink girl for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The girl still
also super attractive.
The girl still does Comic-Con appearance stuff all over. But yeah, I was always the Black Ranger because it was like, oh, Zach, duh, and there weren't any other Zachs in our school.
But you didn't even get the references, did you?
No, I knew enough about it. I just wasn't. It wasn't something that I was supposed to partake in. But you gotta break those rules.
Yeah, rules are made to be broken.
Yeah,
break them. It's a new sponsor.
Rules just rule breaking.
Rules are made to be broken. Break them.
What is the sponsor name? Rebellion.
Get broke.
We talk more like this type of stuff on our Patreon exclusive podcasts.
Yeah.
So check that out, patreon.com/SmashingHisPodcast. And, if you haven't listened to our last Spies, Lies, and Allies recap, you can check me out on BuzzFeed.com. And
back on this.
My blanket review. Other than that, let's just merch, SmashingHisPodcast.com/store. All the merch is there. And then we, I believe if you order now, you still got time before Christmas. It's December 6th. I think they can guarantee it up to a certain point.
Get you a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Buy your
shower curtain.
Buy your significant other a beach towel.
Yeah.
Or a bath mat.
Or a laundry bag.
Hannah's holding a coffee mug right now.
It's true.
I am.
Get your spouse a coffee mug.
We do have this, and we have the multiple types, and like the travel ones with the lids.
Right.
And any design choice you want.
You can get these designs on a canvas and put it on your wall.
In multiple colors. Or skateboards.
Or skateboards. You can put skateboards on the wall.
You sure can.
You know who does that?
You can do wall rides with skateboards.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
You said you know who does that.
And then you just didn't say any more.
I was waiting my turn.
And then we waited, and you just went, yep.
All those little SoCal shops like PacSun and
Billabong.
Tilly's and Billabong, they put skateboards on the wall for decoration.
But when I was like 12, 13, whatever, like PacSun was like the place to buy like clothes.
Right.
And it's fine now. I don't particularly shop there, but they probably have some stuff I would still wear, like Vans stuff, things like that. But
Vans off the wall.
Vans off the wall. But we have.
They're not on the wall.
We have a friend that grew up way out the country and was homeschooled, and he is our age, but he always acted like he was like an 80-year-old man, even when we were 15.
That's right.
He still does.
And he bought a button-up shirt, and somebody asked him within like the last like 3 years where he got it from, and he's like, "This pretty cool store called PacSun." I was like, "What?" And he's like, I found it in the mall. He's like, "It's really cool." And I was like, "You mean PacSun?"
And it was totally like
legitimate.
I think
like
I can do a pretty good match of him. Like, no, man, it's PacSun. Like, it's actually really cool.
Yeah. And by the way, we love this guy.
Yeah, no, he's great, but it's just
that's the type of person
we've called him Old Man his name since he was 12.
A teenager. Yeah.
I mean, that's bizarre.
He used to say things like, "You're grinning like a possum eating berries."
And he's like 31.
Yeah. And he was like in his 20s when he said that. Well, there it is. Go shop at Pacsoon. And let's just get in.
I've seen crickets jump higher than you.
I don't know if that's one for real, he said, but it wouldn't surprise me. Grinning like a possum eating berries was a real one, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, but think about it. Possums are so cute.
Sure. I mean, I get
and
the analogy.
And they love berries.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, I'm assuming they do.
Hey, you know what else they like? Cat food.
They all.
And you know what else they like?
Ticks.
Scaring the living daylights out of Jake.
Yeah. They're not scary though.
No, they're super cute.
I was trying to catch a pregnant cat in our neighborhood, and I caught the same possum 4 times in the same trap, multiple nights in a row.
He just wouldn't learn.
He just eat that cat food and wait for me to let him out.
Round 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have. I
haven't set it back up again. Because he wasn't as big. Like when we went to the zoo in Utah, we saw a full grown one. This one wasn't as big as that, and so I knew it was the same one every single time.
He was little.
Yeah.
So silly.
So let's start this episode off with my first note was just like, cool fedora, Derek, and it to me it was just like you had to like plan to pack that and bring it along with you.
I mean, you saw the Chubby's outfit he wore last
I'd
week.
say that's excusable for one. I think it's a better fashion statement than a fedora, but 2, at least that was some sort of like sponsored thing. That's probably the most memorable thing from this season with him, other than losing to Brad in this episode. But it's just like, man,
I hate fedoras. I really do. I've always hated them.
It's just like that's you were at home and you're like, I got packed for this trip. You know what I might need later on? This.
You know what? I just he's in a weird like phase where I feel like I said this last week. I think he's just trying really hard. Everything seems very like try hard.
I've seen a lot of people say things along those lines in like the discussion groups or our Slack group even. It's just honestly, I saw multiple people that were like, I'm glad he went home this episode. Just like and like the thing with him and Nehemiah was kind of weird. Even I think at one point Brad was like, I think this is fake.
Darrell.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's I've never had a problem with him in any other seasons.
No.
I've never been someone who disliked Derek, but this season it almost felt like he hadn't come to terms with where he was in life and felt like he had to act a certain way in order to like
it felt
counteract.
It felt disingenuous.
Yeah, it was very forced. It was very put on. And that's just not as much fun to watch when we're looking for reality TV, especially these OG challenge people. We're looking for their genuine crazy selves.
Yeah,
like you don't have to force anything.
I wonder if it's like, because the thing with Derek was he was always such a like hard-nosed guy you didn't want to go against. He was smaller, but he'd fight you until he died, and he was always like an underdog who would come out and win, and like he won multiple seasons, but he was never like the focal point of like storylines and stuff. Like he wasn't like a guy causing like big political moves. He was kind of in the back seat, and he would take care of business whenever it was time to happen. And I feel like ever since what was it, Dirty 30 or whatever he was on, and he didn't get any more callbacks, that it was almost like I've got to ramp this up if I'm gonna be on this show again. And it happened somewhat last season, but it felt like it even went even further this season to like I've got to be something other than what I've always been, I guess. I don't know.
Almost like becoming a character.
Yeah.
Which is not what we are looking for. The three of us, I think I can speak for. We're not looking for character actors.
Well, speaking of character actors, the song that was playing behind him was "Today Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube.
Oh, Cube had some hits, boy.
I couldn't tell you any other hits. I mean, I guess I'm saying solo stuff, not NWA stuff.
His biggest hit was Anaconda.
Or you could say
the Friday movies.
You're a big fan of "Are We There Yet?"
And "Are We There Yet?" too.
I actually never saw those.
I never
movies.
saw him either.
He was great in Anaconda.
Jennifer Lopez. Didn't John Voight have like a crazy accent?
Yeah. Owen Wilson was in that movie.
I didn't remember that.
Owen Wilson did a lot of weird stuff.
Owen Wilson was in that
time.
movie.
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
Just in Wes Anderson
He's in the
movies.
Loki series.
Yeah.
Really?
He's like a main character.
He's like the second lead.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I've not been watching that.
He's in. Oh, speaking of that, which
he's always had the same haircut for 20 years.
Yes,
and does not
it
have the same
just
haircut
has-
anymore.
well,
Wow.
speaking of breaking Marvel news, officially Charlie Cox is in the MCU as Daredevil.
Praise God.
Now, Kevin Feige, who's in charge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, did not say when or where we will see him, but he said, I will say he is in as Daredevil, and you'll see him at some point, but we're not going to say. Most people it's the new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, that's been rumored for a long time, way before Marvel confirmed it. But
If he's in it, can we please go to the theater to see it? Because I love him.
I'm going in whether he's in it or not.
that's your ultimatum. He's got to be in it.
He is like seriously that is a sick character, man.
Yeah.
And like I think they could rank in some bank if they.
I wish they would bring John Barenthal in as a Punisher.
Yeah, he does a really good job. But boy, I mean, I've never seen anybody more made for a role than Charlie Cox is for Daredevil.
This isn't Marvel talker, but he does slip into his American accent sometimes wanes.
Well, if you wanna get into a heated discussion, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is as perfect as it gets.
Even though he's like 6 feet tall,
and
Wolverine is like 5'2" canonically. But I agree.
It's perfect.
I agree.
Okay, I forgot about Hugh Jackman because I am a pretty
I think
decent Hugh
Ryan
Jackman
Reynolds is a
fan.
great Deadpool.
That's a great Deadpool.
Not the first time.
Yeah, but that's a script problem. That wasn't part of the MCU technically. We find out that they are forming alliances, and MJ is talking with Brad and Cohutta and Derek and Darrell as their one alliance, and then you have Nehemiah, Latarian, Steve, and then Melinda gets thrown in there, I guess because Nehemiah, and then Tech, but like Melinda's not even to be seen in this episode from what I remember.
Not really.
But she's in that alliance, and so it's like, hey, these are the two big factions in here, and that's when Darrell was like, I think this Derek and Nehemiah thing's weird.
Well, Derek had like confronted Nehemiah, asking him if
they were playing pool.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you still
That's
mad
what I'm
at me
saying.
for not giving you Ryan? For throwing in the other Derek instead of
That was
Ryan."
2 eliminations ago.
But that's just,
and Darrell's like this fake funk that is fabricated.
that's just not a natural like thing to like bring up.
yeah, it's a non sequitur. It's
Right, like it's
oh, hey, do you like ice cream? It's like we were playing pool, man.
He brought it up in a very aggressively awkward way too.
Yeah, again, it's
It was just very left field because they were in the middle of a game of pool, and he's just all of a sudden, "Hey, are you still mad at me for this?"
yeah, it's like someone like looking to provoke or like start something up, and it's like, man, that wasn't even the last elimination. Like the last elimination was Cohutta.
Yeah.
And so anyway, who did Cohutta beat? Ryan.
Ryan.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
That confused me because he said Ryan. And anyway, so we get to the daily. It's called Bright Skies. Find out it's trivia, which I liked the way that they did this trivia. I like having where you just have multiple answers and you just run down the line until someone can't get it.
Yeah, it's a cool way of doing it. We've never seen that.
Because sometimes when you do trivia, some people will get way easier questions than others.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, hey, what's the capital of your home state? And unless you're Nelson, you're going to get it. And
I forgot about that.
but like this evens the playing field. Like you're going back and forth. It's very similar to like a game that they do on Doug Loves Movies and stuff like that. And so I had no problem with it. Katie had a problem with it right away. like almost like panic attack level.
It felt like a panic attack there at the end when she started crying. Like it was like a total meltdown before they even started.
A lot of people were, well, not a lot, like a handful I saw were like mad at production for not getting her down sooner, and I was like, well, we don't really know how long she was up there, or they could have been like securing someone else to something while she was doing that, and they couldn't get to her. But they were like, it took Kendall to yell at him to get over there, and I was like, I think Kendall was just like sympathizing, like, hey, go, if she doesn't want to be here, let her out.
Kendall's a very empathetic person.
Yeah.
So I think when somebody else is like very upset about things, I think she's just sensitive to it.
Kendall quit one last season.
Yes,
she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, Katie knows there's going to be heights things involved. And I don't know. I mean, I don't like heights, but I think I could, especially with your back to it. Like, I think I could make myself do it.
I wouldn't care if we saw Katie again, because this is 2 seasons in a row now where she's
quit and thrown herself into elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And then gone home from it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I was like, why are you here?
Well, and that's why I think Steve 100% made the right move when he was like, I love Katie, but getting Derek out's more important than me trying to save Katie. I was like, Katie's going to go home anyway, soon. And so, yeah, anyway, they go, all the girls, they run down the line. We're not going to go through all the questions and stuff.
The only thing that really bothered me was Kendall couldn't name a single SEC team.
Okay, but Kendall lives in Washington.
Yeah.
Like,
but you've got the University of Alabama.
Okay, could you name like a Big Ten team?
See, all that
12?
stuff runs together to me. Like I don't.
Can
know
you name
which
an
is which.
AA, like just any
AAC?
random, the Big East? Could you name a team from that?
Pac-10?
Like that's the thing. We live in the SEC, like where all the teams around us
I guess
are from there, and so now if it was Tori, her best friend who lives in Nashville, she should know some.
She should. I mean, if she lives in Nashville, she should know Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. So I don't blame that. I think that's a regional thing. I would have trouble for sure naming, because the other thing is a lot of them shuffle around to different places every handful of years, and so
well, I just thought this was a really fun trivia.
Yeah,
not just an interesting way to do it for the competitors, but I think it was a more fun way to watch it as like an audience member, because like he's like, okay, name Tom Cruise movies, and so like I'm sitting there going because Jake was watching it when he got here a little while ago, and it came to that question. I yelled up, Interview with a Vampire. That's the one I couldn't think of last night.
Oh,
and like I have so much fun doing that.
Also, technically, there is no Mission Impossible 2. It's MI2.
Yeah, but
it's not, because he was like, there's no Mission Impossible 4, because Mission Impossible 4 is just Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's Rogue Nation.
Then there's Rogue Nation. Then there's I can't even remember.
What is the 6th one called?
They're all great. Like they're all good
great.
movies. I can't think. We watched it.
I didn't mind
Henry
the one with
Cavill in it.
Henry
Fallout.
Cavill in it.
Wasn't it? Mission Impossible Fallout, right?
That may be it. Yeah, that sounds like a James Bond movie.
I know.
But it's also a video game series.
It was Fallout,
Okay. Yeah. That's probably the most generic title out of all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I love that style of things. Controversially, I'll just say it. People are going to get mad at it. Don't care for Harry Potter.
No.
Don't care at all.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I love. We know people like our age or whatever. Like, it's the best things in the whole world. And
No,
it's
it's
like,
not. I just watched those movies for the first time a year ago.
well, you went with me to see one in theaters one time.
Couldn't have cared less.
Yeah.
Like,
No, we've seen 2 of them in theaters together. One time on a fake double date where I was
Right.
dating someone and you were not, but
right.
you went with me.
Yeah, we actually didn't even sit beside each other.
That's
Me
true. And then she had a baby.
and then she had a baby, and then the running gag was that was my baby.
Even though the timeline didn't work out.
Yeah.
But your brother, when we were on vacation in Florida one time, we went to see Ratatouille. Great movie.
Ugh.
Great movie.
And then he was like, oh, hey, Harry Potter premieres at the next showing. Can we just stay? That's the only time I've ever watched 2 movies back to back in theaters. And so we paid and then watched that. And it was the premiere night. And so people were like really hyped up about it. And then halfway through the movie on like a chase scene, it burned a hole through the film. like the projector got too hot or the film was too close to it, and it burned it all up, and people freaked out in the theater, and like country music started playing on the sound just so they could have something going, and then they had to like restart the whole thing, and we missed like some of the scene because it burned a hole through it. It was wild. Ratatouille is a great movie though.
Yeah.
I for one am not a fan of Ratatouille. I never have been.
Give me Ratatouille over Harry Potter all day long. Any of them.
I was okay with Harry Potter. That was one of those things, you know, I didn't grow up in the same kind of household that you guys did.
For him.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a for him household, but my mom always told me she did not want me getting involved in any of the Harry Potter stuff. I think a lot of it has to like goes back to like my grandmother and my great grandmother in the Philippines there's just stuff that happened back there. And so mom's like, I don't even want you getting involved in that. And so instead, my dad and I would go to theaters and watch the Harry Potter movies. They were fine. It was, I mean, they were fine, but I will say I never finished them. Like I stopped. How many are there? 10?
No. There's I think 7 or there may be 8 movies because they did
the last one they split in half. I didn't even get there. There were like 3 left when I stopped.
You just said you didn't finish
watching
them, and I know you meant like you didn't finish all of the movies, but it would have been funny if like every time you went to the theater, like 40 minutes in, you're like, I'm out of here.
Which would have been
that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm done with this now.
So anyway, Casey wins. And Hannah's gonna have to eat it.
I want you to take as much time as you just spent going into a deep backstory on your grandmother and Harry Potter. I want you to use that same amount of time on Casey.
Same amount of time.
Salmon out time.
Yeah.
First time she's ever won a daily by herself.
But she's only, I think, ever been on paired or team seasons. To be fair.
Regardless.
Yeah. And the only daily ones that I knew of her having were the ones that she won with Wes as her partner.
Which I don't even know if they won that many. They won a lot of eliminations, but I don't know if they won hardly any dailies.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They had to have won at least one.
They went into 6 eliminations.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They did. I don't know. But she cried, which I felt like was a bit much, but I guess.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not done. I guess when she said she was coming on here to redeem herself and be a totally different competitor, she said she didn't want to be a quitter anymore. She didn't want to be remembered as the Casey of Challenge Past. It seemed to me like she really meant it. And so I will give credit where credit is due. She won this daily all by herself. Mm-hmm. Trivia, she out-trivia'd all the other women in the house.
She out-trivia'd Harry Potter stan, essentially, in John A. And
she did. And she was one of those. She was like, I didn't really care about Harry Potter.
That's how it should be. That's how you win dailies.
That's how you win dailies.
Yeah, I mean, great win for her.
When she makes the final, you're gonna have to pay up, Han.
Well,
pay up.
The guys go and Brad falls right away. Iana fell first for the women. That'll come into play later, but because she said the Super Bowl has a name of like an arena for eliminations.
Yeah,
which the arena is one. But Brad goes straight in. The question was like multiple season winners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did not say his.
Yeah, people pointed
name.
out his ex-wife Tori is one of those.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that could also be just a lapse, right? I mean, I don't know if that was malicious. You'd be pretty dumb to waste your shot at money and know you're going into elimination for sure, just because you don't want to say your ex-wife's name. And I don't feel like he's that type of person. I know that they've had a very contentious, sometimes openly contentious on Twitter and thing, but you know what? I mean, Brad going into elimination set the tone for this whole next phase of this episode. And
I can't believe Darrell couldn't name any of people's sexiest men alive.
Well, before that, Cohutta said you had to name stuff that was on like a coast, and he said St. Louisiana, and then MJ goes New Orleans. And he's like, that's not a
It's
state.
not on the coast.
Well, it's not a state.
It's not a
either.
state.
And so he falls. But then, yeah, Darrell said a name that I vaguely knew, didn't know who he was. I looked him up. He's a very pretty guy, but
He's very pretty.
He's not
What was the name?
like Boris Cujo.
Cujo.
Nope. Oh, I spelled chorus. B-O-R-S.
Hey, while you were looking that up, you've heard of a dry heave, right?
Codjo. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like when you need to throw up, but you don't have anything to throw up.
Do you know what a wet heave is?
It's this guy.
Is that not throwing up?
Nope. Oh, he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah,
He's in like Love and Basketball and Medea's Family Reunion, and
I don't like him in Medea movies.
I don't need, but then like Starship Trooper 3 and like 2 Resident Evil movies.
He was the sexiest man alive?
No, he was not.
That's
the
who
thing.
Darrell picked. He's like a B. I mean, like a C.
If
actor.
if he could make it into some big league movies, he could be named one of people's sexiest.
Hey,
men
he's
alive.
gonna be O.J. Simpson in something that's coming up soon.
Oh, God.
Hey, look at maybe Darrell's telling the future. We don't know, but Zach, as soon as the question was asked, Zach was like Paul Rudd, which is true.
That's the most recent one.
But also, Paul Rudd doesn't age.
That's true.
Like Fine Wine, he looks the same now as he did in 1994 in Clueless.
I'll have to show y'all what a wet heave is
1995?
later.
Why?
I don't want to know.
What is
Now.
a wet heave?
It's pretty bizarre.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Let me.
Here we go.
I don't know if I
Pull
want
that
this.
thing up on Urban Dictionary.
Oh, I was gonna look on YouTube.
No,
Not
No.
Twitter.
no,
I
I don't want a video.
Urban Dictionary. Web heaves.
Oh, that's spelled wrong.
Oh, no, you
No, I
didn't.
didn't. Let's see.
I can't read it. It's too far away.
Is this it?
Is
this it?
Yeah.
I can't read it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not anything we can talk about on here.
I just didn't know that was a thing.
That's worse than the other thing we accidentally looked up on Urban Dictionary.
Felching.
No, we didn't look up that, and that's a worse thing.
That's
than
the
this.
worst one.
Yeah, that's
You
a.
can
that's
get
a
all
worse-
kinds of diseases from that.
Yeah. Well, Steve wins. I don't even remember what the question was that he won with.
Oh, God.
Do you? You just watched it.
Yeah, but all those questions run together.
Well, Steve won, and Steve immediately wants to take out the three-headed monster, which is Darrell, Brad, and Derek, and Brad's already going into elimination.
Yeah.
So, Katie doesn't want Kendall. She tells Steve that because Steve and Katie are kind of like each other's number one. But when Casey and Steve are having their like determining thing to pick the names, like Steve is like, hey, Cohutta and Jody will protect Derek with their life shields unless we throw them in first, and then they have to save themselves. And then that way he's not covered. And I was like, that is such a great strategic move.
Great move.
Like, for a guy who did one season and hasn't done it in 20 years,
top-notch move.
I was like, that is unbelievably good thinking.
He's got good hands and an even gooder brain.
Like, it's so smart. And like when they did that and they put it down there, Jody and Cohutta came down, and Jody was like, I see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that's so good. Because now, like, you have, if the voting goes the way you want and the way you think it's going to go, by nominating someone opposite Derek who has closer relationship ties in the house, which they did with Tyler.
Yep.
You're putting two of the top three favorites to win on the guy's side in an elimination on episode 4.
Well, this is going to be the move that anyone goes with going forward, right?
It has to be.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a no-brainer now.
If someone big time goes into elimination and you know you want somebody else and they're protected by life shields, well, guess what? If those people didn't win the daily, which they would be picking the names if they won, like it's a great move all around. And for Casey to be involved, Hannah just hated it so much.
No,
She was part of that hand. She was a part of that thinking.
Yeah.
I know.
This is a different Casey.
Listen. Here in just a minute, I have a bit of praise for Casey.
I don't believe it.
So
It won't be good enough.
It will.
Casey's reasoning is we got to nominate Kendall because Kendall would be a vote to keep Derek in and vote for whatever. And so Steve's like, Katie doesn't want Kendall. But in his confessional, he's like, or it may have been even talking to Casey, somebody said, what's more important, like trying to take out Derek or trying to protect Katie? And he's like, take out Derek. And I was like, 100%. That's for sure the right move.
Plus, Katie put herself in this position.
Yes, and that's why I don't have any sympathy for it. It wasn't like she had a bad break and like whatever. Like she didn't even attempt the daily, which is again the second season in a row she's done that.
Bad look. It's bad luck.
And so they the names are Derek, Tyler, Ayanna, and Kendall. And Ayanna is because she was the first to fall. Was Ayanna?
Ayanna was the first girl out
to fall, but because Katie quit, Katie went right in. That's what that was. That's my
and
bad.
I think that was fair.
I do too.
Ayanna thought it was fair.
Well, Katie's pissed off at Steve, and I was like, "Well, Steve made the right call." And she's like, "I thought you'd use your brain." And
he did.
I was like, "He did more
he used it very well."
So we go in deliberation. Everyone kind of starts talking. Katie's like, "I don't want Kendall," just so everyone knows. And then Ayanna, she's like, "Well, I'm ready." And then she takes she's got her uniform on already. And I don't know if you watched Tyler during that, but he thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
I didn't, but you would.
Yeah. Well, he was like 2 seats over from her.
Yeah, but you got a real soft spot.
I like Tyler.
I freaking love Tyler Duckworth.
I was hoping. I was like, I really hope this vote goes the way that they think it's going to go.
Maybe you've been trying to get him on the pod for years.
I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I mean, maybe you just need to jump in there and just tell him.
I
love you, man.
Well, I haven't done that.
Maybe that's what's keeping him from answering. You haven't told him you love him.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I haven't gone to that link
What
yet.
do you got to lose, Zach? She knows what you're doing. It's not like you're going behind her back.
Hey, tell him I love him too.
That he doesn't know you. That doesn't mean anything to him.
You're not friends with him on Facebook.
I'm not.
Anyway, I was like, man, I really hope this voting goes the way they think, because if not, it's gonna be Tyler versus Brad, and I was like, that's not a good.
I would have been so distraught if Tyler had been voted in, simply because I just love Tyler so much, and I feel like I haven't really gotten to see a lot of him this season yet.
You saw his cousin early on.
I saw his cousin early on, which was great showing by the cousin. And I know we're only in, this is episode, four? But, we've been seeing so much of other people that, some of these...
You good?
I burped.
Some of these other fun people that we like just haven't had, their time in the spotlight yet. So,
yeah,
I really didn't want Tyler to be the one voted in, because I'd felt like him versus Brad I don't know. It'd probably be Brad, just because Brad is...
Tyler's not in the shape.
Yeah, he's not in his best shape.
Yeah.
And Brad is in his best
Brad
shape.
is in his best shape.
Brad's in the best shape he's ever been in.
Brad's a freak.
He really got his crazy phase out of the way, I think. He seems so much more.
I agree.
Except
level.
for right before the elimination,
but that's
in his
different.
little
That's
confessional.
A different mindset.
I know, but his eyes look like they look like they were bugging out again.
But when he came back, freshly divorced and whatever.
My introduction to him.
We were like, this is not the same guy we were used to. I'd say he's probably in better shape now, as far as just cut, than he ever was back in the day. He was always athletic, but now he's just a freak.
Yeah,
he's a work of art right there.
It's crazy, and
I do like that he seems more.
He does seem way more level-headed again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, Crazy Brad was my introduction to Brad, and then you guys were like, this is not Brad. So we went back and we watched some older seasons that he was on, and I was like, oh, I kind of like Brad.
He was always just kind of not Derek, but he was just a very straightforward, honest guy who was going to fight really hard and was good at the game. And then he came back and he was like, I'm here to be nuts.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
Well, this All-Stars 2 Brad is more of the Brad that I like.
I'm feeling good. He is my number one pick.
So, I mean, I'm glad to see him here. And he was, again, I'm not someone that dislikes Derek, but I was rooting for Brad in the elimination.
Yeah, same.
Here's my Casey praise.
Okay.
Derek got mad that Casey and Steve burned his life shields.
Yeah, my life shields.
And saying, like, my life shields, you basically burned my life shields. And Casey piped in and she said, your life shield or Kahuta's and Jody's. And he shut up. And I was like, ooh, that's a good burn. And it's an even better point.
Yeah, I mean,
I tried to tell you him.
I do like a little bit of sass, especially when it's well called for like it was here, because Derek was just assuming that he was obligated to Jody's and Kahuta's life shields. When
I think they would have used them.
Jody probably definitely would have used it.
Yeah.
But like if it was somebody else that Kahuta was closer with and maybe Jody had to use hers on herself, I mean, that just because Kahuta has one does not mean that Derek has a right to it.
No, it's that's why it was such a great game move to make them use it, because then it forces their hand. Like, it's either, all right, well, you're going to go in against Brad, and Kahuta's like, no, thank you. And Jody versus Katie, Jody would have won that.
Yeah.
But there's zero chance you risk that.
Exactly, especially when Jody just had her first elimination win.
Yeah, and you never know if it's
ever.
going to be stupid tic-tac-toe again. And
Yeah.
they vote. It goes the way we think it's going to go. Derek and Ayanna, like, landslide, like, on both directions. And we get back in the house, and at some point Nehemiah tells John A. that he wants to take one of her weaves and, like, use hair glue and, like, glue it to his face so he can be Brad with the big beard.
Did you see after she glued it on his chin, he got bug eyes too?
Yeah, and Brad referenced it. He's like, you got the eyes down. And
He's weird.
yeah.
He knows.
He thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
And but some people, like, you never know. And like I like Brad, like, a couple seasons ago, I don't know if he would have as much.
Well, he didn't think the pizza thing was funny.
Exactly. Like, that was, though, if you're in there doing something with somebody else like that, somebody throws a pizza on you, like Marie, who's an agitator, who we love Marie, but she knew what she was doing.
She thought it was funny.
Yeah. That would make you mad. But this is good old fashioned. What's kind of ironic is Brad's not even near the same alliance that Nehemiah's in, but it's the whole like, hey, my enemy's enemy is my friend, because Brad and Derek have to face off against each other.
Yep.
But Brad's in the opposite alliance of Nehemiah.
But Nehemiah really wanted Derek gone.
And I think he seems like cooler with Brad just overall. And so we go to the elimination, and it's called Wait, There's More. And I don't know if that's WEIGHT or WAIT.
It's got to be if you really want to play on that.
It could be both, because once you drop all the things, then the puzzle
There's
comes
more.
up. There's exactly.
So it should be WEIGHT.
See, no, I was saying it almost could be the other way, because it's like, wait, there's more. It's double on time. Good job, guys. Good name. So whenever I saw it and they're like, oh, you got to move 1,000 pounds, I was like, oh, okay, well, Ayana's going to win. And she does.
Yet again, just made it look seamless.
She didn't yell powerful as whatever.
Yeah.
And then she didn't help Katie win after she was done. But
Well, Katie had already gotten to her puzzle.
if Ayana should have gone over there and was like, we're moms, we can do this.
We're going to finish this puzzle. No, before they even started, this was already light years better of an elimination than last week's.
100%. Last week's, it wouldn't surprise me if last week's was an alternate where they were like, they had like we got to have a quick backup elimination. Something went wrong. And they're like, well, we're just going to put on these fire suits and make you run.
They should have went with another backup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
They should have just done like a tug of war or something.
I was going to say tug of war.
Like that would have been a better elimination than this.
Do a relay race or something. You know?
Yeah, like where you got to run with an egg on a spoon.
That one's fun. Hey, did you ever do the one where you hold it out in front of you with your hand, or did you do the one where you put the spoon in your mouth?
God, hey, mouth.
I think it could go both ways.
I like when you get Southern, man.
That wasn't Southern. I said mouth.
She does.
She had a twang on
She
it.
gets when her mom calls her.
Look, yeah.
What?
What y'all up to, Mom?
Ugh, what was that? Also, that word is not in my dictionary.
Y'all.
Yeah, that's not in my vocabulary.
Well, Alana wins, and for my last pick, and for you guys, for her to be the next to last pick in the whole thing, what a dominant start to this season. Even the episode that she was kind of a dick in, like she was one of the main storylines.
Yep.
And so
a real hit, man.
Yeah,
they hit on that one.
And Brad versus Derek, I was like, this is such a big time elimination, like this early on. Like it's gonna flip the way that things happen going forward.
This elimination in this episode changed the trajectory of
human history.
Of not only, I lost what word I was going to say.
That's about the third time that's happened, man.
I know. I told Zach last night, I said, I honest to goodness think that since COVID, even though I'm mostly over it, like my brain has not been the same.
That's a good bit. You could probably make some money off of that.
I doubt it.
No?
No.
Well,
it changed not only the house.
We're gonna try it again.
Yeah, it changed not only the house and the alliances and the power struggle, but I think this changed, the path to the final.
Oh, for sure. Like again, our top 3 picks were Darrell, Brad, Derek, K in that order, and I think on paper those are the 3 guys you would think have the best chance to win this whole season.
Absolutely.
And because again, yes, who won last season? It's kind of like a dark horse just because we didn't know much about it. Like he's not here. Nehemiah would probably be the closest, maybe out of everybody left. But like that's a big power move, taking one of these guys out. And I wanted Brad to stay, not just because he's on my fantasy team, but just because it's just a more interesting dynamic having him involved. And
also Brad's easier to watch on TV.
Yeah, Brad's a teacher. He's not dumb. Like he's got big bug eyes.
He's also a DJ.
That's true. That doesn't really help in this.
He does it all.
But he won and like won pretty handily because they showed Derek's board at the end and he still had like some things like mismatched stuff. So I mean, it's a great win, and it wasn't something fluky like tic-tac-toe or something like that. It's just,
I would have been really mad if the elimination for these 2 big, huge, heavy hitters was something like tic-tac-toe.
I think if production knew it was these 2 guys going in and tic-tac-toe was playing, they'd be like, we gotta fix something.
Yeah, that'd have been a real tragedy.
Yeah. So again, Brad wins. He's staying. Now he sent home part of his alliance, but I mean, shout out to Steve and Casey, man. That's I saw some people say this was like the type of power move that we didn't see last season in All Stars, and All Stars 1 was a great season.
Yeah, it was really good.
I know our patrons and Slack group or whatever like absolutely love All Stars 1 and this whole season so far. I haven't listened to it personally. I know that I guess Derek did kind of like his rendition of everything on their podcast and said something along the lines of he was like really betrayed by Casey and like her doing this to him. And he was like, we kept her around on the ruins. He's like, and I don't really know why. And people are like, why? Like you kept her around on the ruins because you wanted really bad people on their team.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, just own it. Like, don't like be vague about it. Like, why you kept Casey around. Casey would say,
yeah,
I know why
Casey
you kept me
knows.
around.
Yeah.
And so it's not like this big betrayal thing. It's just a great game move. Like I just love that they had the balls to do it.
Yeah,
I think that because
sure.
Steve came in 20 years removed, not worried about politics and callbacks or whatever, he's like, well, yeah, this makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So, you got any final thoughts on this episode?
I just think, there are even production choices with this show that set it apart and make it just more aesthetically pleasing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I saw someone, I don't remember, someone on Twitter was like, hey, I haven't been as involved watching the last few challenge seasons, like, but if you're someone who loved, seasons from the past, like, check out All Stars. They're like great personalities, fun to watch, good eliminations, 45 minutes, and no explosions. And I was like, yeah, the new season does do a lot of explosions
for no reason.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we got a budget, let's blow things up. That just happens in the background.
Could save a lot of money.
Yeah.
You think, no, for real, like, on a production level, it doesn't add, like, when they say, like, oh, pull this lever and blow, they're not doing that. They have somebody off screen that's blowing stuff up. Those are dummies. Those are like PVC pipe or whatever. And so you have to have production people to do that. You have to have safety engineers. You have to have, like, medics on standby. Like, and so it's just like, you're spending all this money on, like, frivolous things that, like,
the audience doesn't even like.
I mean, I'm sure some people are like, wow, that was real cool.
I haven't seen anybody. I've not seen anybody like it.
It's like those guys that, like, here in the South, we have a lot of guys that like to get their trucks lifted up and stuff.
Yeah.
Or have the cars real low and they rev up that engine, right? Who honestly, when that happens and that truck drives by, goes, dang, that's cool, man.
I didn't tell you this. I told Hannah a couple weeks ago. I drive a Subaru Outback. It's not like, oh man, I'm gonna race people in this car.
I know what you're telling.
I was at a red light, and this guy pulls up beside me. He's in like a Dodge Charger, Challenger, something like that. And yeah, that's a fast car, right?
Fast car.
I'm at the red light before him. He pulls up beside me, and this is like the big main road where we live, and I'm near Taco Bell and stuff down there, and he gets up to me. He's got a girl in his passenger seat. It just started raining, so the roads are a little slick, right? And he starts revving his engine like, and I just looked at him, and I just kind of looked back. And when that red light turned, he and took off, and I just kind of went like the normal pace. Cause again, I'm in an Outback.
You're in a 2008 Outback.
Yeah, and so I'm driving. He gets up the road like a quarter mile, half mile, and then stops in the middle of the road for me to catch up with him. And so I just drive my normal pace, and when I get up there, he takes off again, but because the road's slick, he spins and they go off into the grass and then back up. And then he stopped again for me, and I was like, I just kind of gave him a thumbs up. I was like, you're real cool, man. Like, what does he want me to do? I was like, if he would roll his window down, I'd be like, I'm in a blue LL Bean Outback. Like, what do you want from me? It's just like, I wasn't trying to provoke him or anything, but he was trying to show off for that girl. And like, I honestly,
but what you gotta wonder about that girl though?
I don't at all. I don't wonder about her.
How old were they?
I'd say early 20s.
That's older than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, they may have been late teens, but they didn't look like high school kids. And I was like, when he took off and was sliding because it was raining, I was like, you know what? I was like, I hope that they don't get hurt. I was like, but I hope he wrecks that car.
Just to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing anything.
I just don't know who thinks that's cool.
Nobody.
He did.
Nobody thinks it's cool.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, but I really wanted him to stop again. But then I took my exit and he kept going, and I wanted to like roll down my window and be like, "What do you want from me? Like, I don't understand what you're doing." But I mean, man,
you didn't have anybody else in the car with
no,
you.
Just
you didn't have anybody to show off for.
2:30, like on a weekday.
That's what I was making a comparison there. That's what the main challenge is.
It's that guy.
It's that
dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not cool.
and then the 2008 LL Bean Subaru.
Oh, and then everybody loves it.
Too.
Yeah. You got any final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
No.
I pointed at Hannah and you said no.
Yeah.
That was just me. That wasn't.
Well,
Hee-haw. That's
Jake's favorite TV show. Hee-haw. Let's get into our superlatives for the episode. Who smashed some heads? I think you have to name one person in position.
You have no choice in this hand.
I wrote down Steve.
Oh,
because I wrote down Steve because.
Oh my God! It was the same thing. They did the same things.
It was his idea to make Jody and Cohutta used their life shields because Casey was the one that was shocked by it. She's like, "Oh, that's such a good idea."
I agree with that, but I think you should have to pick Casey, and we should redact what you said.
I agree.
Okay, if I say Casey, you guys both have to use Steve for the same reason.
I was gonna pick Steve.
You have to use Steve too, Jake.
Fine, Ann. As long as Casey gets some credit from
Casey smashed Derek's head by calling him out for feeling he was obligated and had a right to use somebody else's life shield.
For who got their head smashed, you have to use Derek because he got his head smashed by.
Who got? I mean, he did in multiple ways. Honestly.
He did.
I don't know who else I would pick for this. I mean, you could say Katie because, like,
she smashed her own head.
At this point, like, you don't give her.
I don't know why she comes back. Why she's getting.
I get why she came back last season.
I get that.
Yeah.
I said that wrong. I don't know why she's. You've seen this 2 seasons in a row.
Well,
now.
To be fair, not even 2 seasons in a row. Like, TJ's like, this happens every time you're on the challenge.
Yeah.
And like, it's not a new thing. This is something from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I agree. I was excited. Katie knew, like, 'cause, again, seems like a new person, different person.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. It's been so far removed. But like, when it comes to this type of stuff, she is more level-headed than she used to be. She's like, yeah, I'll go in. Like, I chose not to do this.
She didn't get in a fight with anybody.
True, Trishelle wasn't here, but I don't think she deserves to take somebody else's spot on All Stars going forward.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, then, Katie got her head smashed.
Katie got her head smashed.
Yeah, she did.
Well, you know what? Let's. You got any?
Is it time?
It's time.
What's the sponsor for this? Is it Super Soaker?
Super Soaker.
Lonnie Johnson? Lonnie Walker?
Lonnie Johnson.
Lonnie Johnson.
Not Lonnie Walker.
You want to put a shirt on. Get wet.
You want to get put a shirt on?
Super Soaker.
Super Soaker. All right, Zach.
What's his name? No, that's what Lonnie.
It's Lonnie Johnson.
It's
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. We gotta give him his credit. I'm ready.
Well, according to Tina, they tic-tac-toed the out of that.
Out of what?
They're
the tic-tac-toe thing.
Jody and Cohutta, 10 points.
To who?
Jody and Cohutta.
See, you didn't say that.
Did Darrell call Jody Sandra Bullock?
He called somebody Sandra Bullock.
He called her Sandra Bullock because I looked at Dak and I said, Sandra Bullock?
I don't really know what he meant by that.
Well, give Jody 5 points.
I mean, I like Sandra Bullock. That's Miss Congeniality.
Yeah. Yeah, she's solid, man. I like Sandra. Let's see. Steve's already got a target on his back. -5. Nehemiah got the bug eyes early. He just said, "Look me in the eye." 10 points. We get a weird Nehemiah and Derek spat, kind of halfway done. We'll give him 5 points.
Hold on, I gotta fix something.
Uh-oh.
It says eliminated.
Oh, dang.
I fixed it.
Did you give them 5?
I gave Nehemiah and Derek 5 points.
Yeah. When they were right before they went to the daily, they were kind of highlighting some people working out. Jasmine was just dancing by herself in the bedroom. 10 points.
I forgot about that.
This
Heights thing ain't for Darrell, Casey, and Katie. -5 to all 3 of them.
But they did it.
They did it. You're right.
Darrell,
Casey.
Well, Katie did.
Well, Katie's gonna get. Yeah. Katie's about to go on a run.
Great. I do have her, but luckily I have Ayana and Brad as well.
We get a Casey quitting montage, -10. But that's not the plan today. 10 points. Here goes Katie. -5. Sad Katie. -5.
What was the first one for?
That's when she kicked it off.
Okay.
We get full panic attack now. -10.
Oh, people are gonna get mad. You're giving her points for having a panic attack.
Okay, well,
I just don't want the points.
Right. Yeah. Well, she quits. -15.
I do agree with that.
Doesn't care if she goes to elimination. -10.
Yeah, she's like, I don't care. Put me in.
Second season in a row. -20.
Good God.
It's the same. It's the same thing. She's done the same thing 2 seasons in a row.
You just gave her -65 points all in that one sequence.
She did it to herself.
Well, she's
gonna
get -50 for losing the elimination.
All right, so I gave everybody 5 points for every
you
question
did.
they got right. No, for every question. So here's what it looks like. and -5 for when they got a question wrong. So Kendall doesn't get any. It comes out to 0.
Oh, well, then I'm out.
Yeah. Janelle comes out to 0.
Yeah.
Jody comes out to 5.
Okay.
Ayana comes out to -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 30 for John A.
Okay.
None for Tina. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 35 for Casey.
Where's Kate? There it is.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 15 for Melinda. -5 for Jasmine.
I don't even remember Melinda saying anything in this episode.
-5 for Kendall.
You said 0 for her earlier. You said Kendall had 0.
Oh, yeah.
She was the first person I was doing.
Yeah, forget that. Let's see. Were there any girls left that didn't get points?
Kendall already had 0.
Yeah, that's right.
Tina and Janelle had 0. Katie's already gone. Ayana got -5. You didn't do anything for Jody.
Yeah, I did. She got 5.
Oh, I don't remember typing that, but I could have.
Yeah, you did it.
Okay.
You got it. Steve had 20.
Okay.
Latarian had 15. Who are you laughing at?
She's on her phone, not paying attention.
My mom texted me.
Your mom's not funny.
5 for MJ.
Yes, she is.
None for Brad. 15 for Derek.
Okay.
15 for Nehemiah. No, I'm sorry. 10 for Nehemiah.
Well, but it was 15 for Derek.
Yes. 15 for Darrell. 10 for Kahada.
Not 25. 15. Yeah.
15 for Tyler. And the last one, 20 for Tech.
By the way,
That's a lot.
The one that Tyler went out on, he said Atlanta for cities with 1 million people or more.
We looked it up.
I knew most of them. There were a couple surprising ones to me. Like San Antonio was in there and Phoenix was in there.
I could see Phoenix.
I just didn't know it was that big. I didn't figure San Antonio. I forgot San Diego. I knew like L.A., Houston, Chicago, New York.
San Francisco. San Francisco's on there. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure.
right. And then Dallas, I think, was on there. But like, she said Nashville initially, and I was like, Nashville's only like 600,000 or so in actual Nashville. If you count all the outlying areas, it's more. Memphis isn't. Like New Orleans isn't. I didn't know Atlanta was smaller than Nashville.
Yeah, I looked it up because I was like, I need to know how many people are actually in Nashville.
I would have thought Atlanta was
And
a good guess. To
It
be
was
honest.
like 720,000 people in Nashville as of 2020 or 2021, and then Atlanta is a few 10,000 behind Nashville.
But it could be, with all the like suburbs and stuff, that it's more total. But
Yeah, well, now that we're past all that,
you didn't. By the way, you didn't give Tina anything for yelling about camel toe.
I haven't gotten to those points yet.
okay.
I just went through.
Okay, I got you.
I went through all the questions. I want to give everybody those points first. All right. Casey was dancing to kick off the whole thing. We'll give her 5 points. TJ doesn't like Jasmine's face. -5. Jasmine hates everybody. -5. I'm gonna give Janelle -15 because when TJ asked her, 20 biggest chain restaurants, she said Denny's.
I do think that's not a good. But I honestly don't know the answer to that one. Like,
but Denny's?
I agree.
That's
I agree. Denny's is a bad
should
guess.
not be your go-to.
And she was the first one to answer that.
I know.
That's your
She
answer?
had so many other answers.
By
she
the
could
way,
have
people
used.
said with the Brad thing that he wasn't the first. Like he was like further down the list than what it made it look like for his answer.
I figured.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. What do you think is like? Because it wouldn't be like fast food, right?
No, but I mean, you got like
So I would think
Chili's. I mean,
think Red Lobster.
Applebee's,
TGI Fridays,
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse. I mean,
I don't know about that one.
I mean, but I'm
Yeah.
just like
Denny's is a bad.
Denny's.
Yeah,
There are a
Denny's.
lot of them. There are a lot.
Well, I mean, good for Denny's.
No, there
man.
are.
They're not good. Not a fan of Denny's.
I've never been to I've been to Denny's
You're more of a Shoney's guy.
just a
I do
couple
like. I
of
ate the
times.
crap out of them ham cubes.
Gross.
Ew.
Yeah. Ham cubes and croutons, girl. Yes, ma'am.
Together?
Yes.
Yeah, he makes like
put some shredded cheese and bacon
like
bits on top of it too.
Poor man's crostini.
All right.
My stale bread and ham cubes.
Tina's camel toe, 10 points. Casey wins, 25 points. She's automatically makes her safe, 15. First individual win ever, 10 points. Did Darrell say Forrest Cuban or was he trying to say Forrest Gump? And he said something.
He said Boris Cujo.
Oh, is that what he said? I thought he was trying to say Forrest Gump.
For Sexiest Man Alive, you thought he said Forrest Gump? A fictional character who is Tom Hanks, who is not known as the sexiest type of person. I will say Tom Hanks is probably one of the best actors of our lifetime. I'd say top 5 even.
Yeah.
But he didn't say, you know who I like? Forrest, whatever you said. And the thing that we already talked about this. I showed you the picture.
Well, I didn't see that in my fantasy points, and then I remember now. Well, forget those points. Let's see here. Steve wins 25 and 15 for him. From chopping block to champions, 10 points to Steve and Casey. Brad and Katie go straight in, negative 25.
Both on my team.
But Katie knows she deserves this. 5 points for self-awareness. Casey thinks that Steve is an effing brainiac. 10 points to Steve. Katie is Steve's campaign manager. 5 points to Katie.
I didn't really know what she meant by that. But...
What he meant by that.
Huh?
He said that.
Oh, he said that. I remember them saying it, and I was like, is that just like figuratively? Like, I don't feel like she's like setting him up for like hand modeling gigs or anything.
Using the life shield on himself was the most selfish thing that Cohutta ever did.
Negative 50. Negative
5. Jody and Cohutta used the life shields, 15. I don't remember, because I don't think we've had this situation. Do they not lose points for being named and then get points for having used the life shield? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they were initially in the 4 names picked. You're right. So it would be negative 25 for being nominated.
We just haven't had this situation yet.
Oh, but then it's the 25. It's actually 25 for using their life shield, because that removes them from being nominated, right? It's 15 if they use it on someone else. Negative 15.
You said, up here it says negative 15 for nominated, 20 for life shield.
Okay. All right. So here's what's going to happen. It's hard remembering all this and all my notes.
That's why I made a key up here.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. So, negative 15 for being nominated, because that does not mean you're voted in, right? So
okay.
That's,
yeah.
Right.
I get, but Brad and
they go straight in, so that's negative 25. All right, so we're initially wipe out those 15.
I did, but they get negative 15.
Negative 15 for being nominated.
Yes.
We're going to give them 20 for using the life shield. So basically, it's an additional 5 for saving themselves.
I didn't remember if it was 20 for that or 20 for getting a life shield after you win an elimination.
God, is that it? Did I screw up these fantasy points?
I feel like you did, because the very last score from Jody was 20, and the very last score from Cohutta last week was 20, and that was my key up here, was you get 20 points for having a life shield, you get negative 15 for being nominated.
All right, so we're going to create a new rule then. For using it, do we want to make that 15, 20?
Has anyone used one yet at all?
So it got used on other people.
Yeah, used his to save tech.
Right.
So that was in last week's episode, right?
Yes.
In which case, if they use their life shield on someone else, who gets the points for that?
I think Nehemiah got 15 for using his life shield on tech.
Okay, so
it just balances it
so
out.
Tech does not receive.
Tech got points for being saved, yes. So he was negative 15 for being nominated, and he got that 15 back.
Yeah, right there. And then he went on a run at the end.
Okay, well, what I was asking was, are Nehemiah was the one that had the life shield, and he used it.
He got points.
He
got
also received points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting a life shield after elimination, what we've established is 20. Being nominated is negative 15. Using the life shield is 15, and being saved, you get that 15 points back from being nominated.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm good with that.
So I have it up here now. That's why I did it, because I was like, this is going to get confusing.
There's a lot of
with
stuff
the life
happening.
shield.
Yeah.
I liked Tyler's response when he came out and saw his name. He just was like, okay.
So by the way, I have to change these to 15 right here.
Yeah.
And then Tyler.
5 points to Tyler. Let's see.
Although we could get really complicated here, because they got negative 15 for being nominated. They used the life shields 15 here, and now they're safe. So Tech got points for that, but because they use it on themselves, do they get the other 15 points? Or is it just a wash at that one because you're saving yourself? You're not doing it as a
gesture.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So we're good. We're good. I just want to establish that going forward.
Yeah. Ayanna came out in her uniform. 15 points.
Yeah.
Casey has turned into the Queen of the South per MJ. 10 points.
And he's from the South.
That's the episode title. Queen of the South.
Okay.
Derek barks at Nehemiah. Doesn't scare him. Negative 5 to Derek.
I forgot.
Why did he do that? That was super weird.
That's what I'm saying, though. That it's just what he's been this season. Like, it's just, what are we doing?
Because like everybody else looked at him like real cringy. Like, why?
I completely forgot about it. I forgot. Because Hannah, I think when we were watching it, she's like, did he bark at him?
He did. I don't want to give him these points, but I'd give it to anybody else that did it. He stood on the table and said, "Court is adjourned." 5 points. We'll give 5 points to John A. for her weave. 5 points to Nehemiah for it being on his chin. And 5 points for the Brad impression.
Good.
Brad's a good sport about it. 5 points. Let's see. Tech with the quote, "The wait is over, y'all." 5 points. Ayanna wins, 75. Katie loses, negative 50. Gonna be a bad week for Katie.
Yeah, she's going to be very negative.
I'm going to give 10 points to Brad for this quote. "You can still make beauty in the battle."
That sounds like...
It sounds like something you'd want to get tattooed on your arm or something.
Me?
Yeah.
That's kind of a diss, because I was going to say it sounds like somebody who really loves like Affliction shirts would have it as like their name on like MSN Messenger.
Yeah, I'm real into Affliction.
We know people that were and still are pretty into Affliction.
We're going to give 10 points to Ayanna for an, just as great quote. "Remember your why, baby."
Yeah.
Derek is going to make everyone poop their pants. It'd be neat if he did. 10 points. You gave him 5.
Oh, sorry.
Trying to short my team. Hey, Steve and Casey hug it out. 5 points. Their plan worked. Brad wins, 75. Derek loses, negative 50. 20 points to Ayanna and Brad for the life shields.
Yeah.
He got outsmarted by a hand model. Negative 10 to Derek. But I'll give him 10 points back for the dual middle fingers. So that, ladies and gentlemen, are your fantasy points for the week. Throw on a shirt, get soaked.
Super soaker.
Zach, you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, I want to.
And we're back. Zach to have looked to have been real dialed in on the math. I can't talk tonight, you guys.
Are
It's
you
fine.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so no real surprises. Casey and Steve were two of the biggest scorers. Ayanna actually had the highest score overall because she just didn't have very many negative. Casey had some negatives. And then Brad, even though he won, he started with a negative 25 for going in. So lowest score of the week is Katie by far, negative 135.
Oh, wow.
So running through it, Darrell got 10, Colehuda got 15, Tyler got 20, Kendall 0, John A 35, and Jasmine got -5. Hannah's team ended up with 75 for the week. Brad got 85. Nehemiah got 35. Tina got 10. Latarian got 15. Janelle got 15. Katie got -135. And Ayana got 125. So I ended up with 120 for the week because they kind of wiped each other out at the end. Derek got -20.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, because he had some positive scoring, like here, and then he gave him 10 points for double middle fingers and stuff. So he kind of evened out. Jody ended up with 20, MJ 5, Casey 110.
Yeah.
Tech 25, Steve 80, and then Melinda 15. So Jake got 225 for the week.
How about that, Han? On the back of Casey.
Yeah. Oh, Casey was your leading scorer, easy. Second leading for the week. Ayana's the only one who scored more than her.
Casey.
So Hannah broke 100, and she has 120 now. Jake's in second with 325, and I am in first with 440.
Oh, it got closer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you because even though I had the 2 elimination winners, I didn't have either daily winner, and I had the big loser who quit the daily, too. So, yeah, that really took me down. But, yeah, I mean, it's a close game so far. We have the rules now. Life shields are 20. Being nominated is -15. Using life shields 15. And if you were saved by someone else's life shield, you get that 15 back from being nominated. So we're all on the same page. We just got to work it out. Because nobody used their life shields last season.
That's right.
They just took them away after like one episode.
That was a thing.
So again, shout out to Lonnie Johnson for soaking us super hard. And like I said at the top of the show, check me out on BuzzFeed.
That's real suggestive.
You know,
I'm not going to acknowledge it.
Tyler, I love you, and you know, we'll be back with you not next week, later this week. That's for Spies, Lies, and Allies. Seems it's a night of eliminations.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm excited about that.
We're ready for it.
So, and then we'll be back with All Stars again. But man, All Stars it's just a breath of fresh air, and you know, Lonnie squirts all over you, and then you get this big whiff of air, and you're just ready to go. So.
Soar on the wings of eagles.
On the wings of Lonnie's wetness.
It's quite a squirt gun he's got there. Hey, we'll let you guys know how everything looked and went after Zach drops in Tyler's DMs and tells him he loves him. Have a good night, everyone.